Hello and welcome to Weekend Investing Daily Bites. This is episode number 43, July 1st. Today we are going to have a discussion on how position sizing helps in a diversified portfolio and our experience of the small cases that we have and how the position sizing has helped us all these years. First, let's look at the sectors that were outperforming today were pharma and auto. There were good numbers from tractor sales, good numbers from auto sales, two-wheelers being the first of the month. And auto ancillaries were in fact flying, some of them. Mid-cap pharma and mid-cap IT has also been performing. Today the large cap ITs were down a bit. Energy stocks, commodity stocks were taking some beating, but largely despite the overall weakness in the market, several segments in the market were going up. In terms of the market caps, even small caps were going up, and the strategies which are following the small caps like MI25 were up 0.7%. ATH was up 0.7%, MI50 was up 0.5%, MIMT all cap was up hugely at 1.34%. That it is doing the best in the last 1 week at 4.6% and is now at 33% for the financial year. As I said, the small cap index and the Nifty Next 50 both were up today, but the other indices were pretty much down and flat more or less. Nifty is at a very critical level, so if we hold this level then we can hope to build back up, but if we break down from here then it would have sort of distributed over the last month and there may be further downsides if that happens, but we don't know how that will pan out, and so we will basically follow our strategies and hope that we will see better days. NNF 10 is still bleeding because of our exposure to Adani. We don't want to take ad hoc decisions or discretionary decisions in a non-discretionary strategy. Yes, we may have some pain for some time, but we are still whatever exposure we have to Adani, we are still sitting on profit. So yes, there is some pain for people who have come in recently, but overall I have seen over the years there is no point of over sort of indulging in the non-discretionary systems, and that beats the whole purpose of allowing the system to take its own course. Yes, sometimes some strategies may not do well for some time, but over a reasonably longer term period I don't see any reason why any strategy will fall behind. So in case you are feeling a little fidgety about Adani, let me tell you that there is no current red flag on any company, and in case the NSE decides to take them out of the Nifty Junior Index, then we will take it out of our system also, because we are following very strictly the Nifty Junior composition for this particular strategy. So moving on to our today's topic of position sizing, let's take an example. Let's say this guy has a portfolio of 40 lakhs and his friend tells him buy stock XYZ and it will double, and he invests 50% of his portfolio in this particular stock. So he puts in 20 lakhs and as stock tips turn out, the stock is down 40%. There is some bad news in the company and the 20 lakhs is now down by 8 lakhs. So we are left with the overall portfolio was 40 lakhs, so we are now down because of this 8 lakh loss to 32 lakhs. Portfolio is down by 20%. So this guy who allocated 50% of the portfolio to one stock essentially has lost 20% on the portfolio because of that one stock. Another guy who had a portfolio of 40 lakhs invests 50% of the portfolio in a small case. So he invests 20%, 20 lakhs into a small case, which itself is made up of 20 stocks. And we have, let's say, 5% allocation each. Let's say this is MI all cap. It is a 20 stock portfolio with 5% allocation to each company. And let's say stock XYZ is part of that portfolio now. So now his exposure to that particular stock is only 1 lakh, right? So 40 lakhs, 50% allocated to the small case at 20 lakhs, and then within 20 lakhs he is allocated 1 lakh to each of those 20 stocks. So now if XYZ stock has a bad news and goes down 40%, he loses 40,000, right? And on his overall portfolio of 40 lakhs, he's lost only 40,000. So the impact of this particular one stock is, 40,000, that's 1% of the portfolio. So, he's in a way much better off than Mr. A in this situation. Yes, if the tables had turned and only XYZ had gone up, then Mr. A would be riding pretty. But when you are looking at a long-term systematic way of investing, you do not want to do such concentrated betting. And while there are a lot of proponents of concentrated betting and the advantages of it, not everybody can digest those kind of volatility that happens in those kind of portfolios. So please analyze what you are comfortable with. Maybe you are comfortable with 50% allocation to a stock. Then of course that is good enough for you. I mean, if you are okay with 30-40% of your overall portfolio going up and down, and your wealth goes up and down for 40-50%, just like cryptocurrencies do, that's fine. Then then you've found your match. But most people are conservative by nature, and they don't want to do this, and they don't want to lose sleep, and they don't want to be unhappy about their investing. So then they want to diversify, and they want to diversify into several strategies. Each strategy could be further diversified into many stocks. So that's how you take out the particular stock risk out of your entire portfolio. Yes, overall systemic risk will remain. Overall India market goes down, almost every other stock will go down. So that systemic risk will remain in all these portfolios, whether diversified or concentrated. But the specific stock risk, which can always happen, and if you have been in the market for a few years, the best of best stocks, the best of best stories, the best of the best promoters, quality, market share, whatever you may call it, that factor has failed in many cases, right? So you never know what can happen, So if you are a conservative or a risk averse investor, you will diversify. If you are a risk taker, aggressive, then you must go for concentrated betting. So to sum this up, if you are having a diversified portfolio, let's say this domino of 12 dots, so maybe you have 10 stocks in a portfolio, and one stock goes rogue, then you've lost 10%, even if it goes to zero, right? But you are saying that my whole thesis is that 1 or 2 stocks go bad, but my 8 stocks will do well. I'm fine with that. And here in this case, one stock goes bad, your portfolio goes from 100 to 50. Now you have to go up 100% to just be even with your original capital. You may be able to do it, you may not be able to do it. Maybe when the 100 to 50 happens, it demoralizes you so much, then you say, okay, I want to come back to a diversified portfolio. Then that is too late, because the diversified portfolio will take its own sweet time to give you a 100% return. So what your mental status is today as an aggressive investor may not be once you witness a 50% drawdown or a 75% drawdown. So don't assume that you will be able to see the market in the same way at all times. I have seen many traders, many investors change dramatically after a big, crash, or the risk-taking ability goes away. Once you are totally burnt, the risk-taking ability will be very, very different. I mean, you have accumulated a lot of wealth today, and then 70% of it, 60% of it goes away. You may not be ever be able to come back to the same frame of mind again. So don't be too aggressive about things, I would say. And in case you are being aggressive, then you separate out that aggressive portion and ensure that even if that aggressive portion hurts you a lot, your life does not get impacted to a large extent. Don't leverage, don't take loans to do that, so on and so forth. So on this position sizing, I think this is what I have in terms of anything can happen anytime. Bad news, rumor, results, FII selling, MSCI downgrade, Fitch downgrade, attack at some institution, some important personalities getting taken out. Anything can happen anytime. So don't be under any impression that the floor that we are standing on cannot shake. It can shake you anytime, any day, any moment. So with that sort of drawback, a drawback that you always have, you need to secure yourself. So this is obvious, leverage and someone without a strategy, someone without a proper exit plan, they ideally should be worried about when they are in a frothy market. What will happen once the frothy market is over? I mean, the frothy market will not remain like this forever, right? So you need to have a plan. Maybe if you are concentrated better, you made a lot of gains. Maybe now is the time to diversify and maybe protect some gains. Maybe take some money out. Maybe go into some less risk type of stocks, or do something like which may conserve or maybe do some asset allocation, something like that. So in our case, in weekend investing, so I was just looking at the last many years of our operation, and in our small cap segment, we've had several stocks which really went sort of bust after we bought them. So it is not that we are picking only winners, we are picking losers also. But our whole thesis is that we will let the winners run and we will cut short the losers early. That is the whole premise on which we are able to deliver the kind of returns you are seeing. So for example, we bought BPL probably somewhere near the highs only here in 2018. But then it just collapsed. We probably got out somewhere here, took a 30-40% hit. But we had exposure of 2% in MI50, for instance, or a 4% in MI25, for instance. So if my exposure is 2% and stock goes 50% down, I get a hit of 1% on the entire portfolio. Once in a while, if one stock comes around like this, I am happy to take that risk, right? Like there is a lot of clamor about these Adani stocks. So in several of our portfolios we had, and I did a daily bite on this and in which all portfolios I have, how many Adani stocks. So some had 5%, some had 10%, some had 15%, some have 30%. Even if they drop 30, 40, 50%, heavens will not fall. Yes, we will get some hit, but they have provided that gain also over time. Some have given 800% return, some have given 600% return. So one should look at it in a contextual manner. Like Sakuma Export was one company which we bought, I think in MI25 or MI50, I'm forgetting. It said, and we were here somewhere holding it, and it just suddenly dropped. These were all circuit downs. You could not really sell easily, and we were down like 50% in like 2 weeks, or maybe less. I don't know. I don't remember now, but we lost 50% in that, and we had exposure of 2%. We lost 1% on the overall portfolio. Doesn't matter, but at least we are not holding on to the losers. So the whole idea is you hold on to the winners and get rid of your losers. Okay, we've lost some, fine. That is the part of the game. That is the part of the whole plan actually. That you will get some losers. In fact, in terms of number of trades, you will get more losers than winners. We'll probably have out of 100 trades like 30-40 winners, but 60-70 losers. But losers will be smaller and winners will be larger. That is the whole idea. So that is the casino math as they call it. Another one, Madhucon, I think we bought it right here in MI25. So 60 odd rupees we bought it here, and then just collapsed, and we got out, I think maybe like 30 or 40 rupees, somewhere like that, and 30, 40, 50% was gone in no time. We took that hit. But had we been, lingering on, or and stock virtually went to single digit. So get out of losers. Even if they go back up again, we'll buy them up again if it revives. In one of our strategies, we have GMR Infra now. I never thought the stock will revive, but it is reviving. So, allow the stocks to tell you what to do with them, and position size your strategy accordingly. So, even when you're designing your strategy, the position size is something that you need to be careful about. So, aggressive strategy like MIATH has only 10 stocks. The position size is 10%. It is designed in this way that it is an aggressive strategy. We are willing to take more risk per stock. Other end of spectrum is MI50. We have 50 stocks. It's like a mutual fund, but it has given fantastic returns. And most people are not able to believe that a 50 stock portfolio can give that kind of returns, 25-30% CAGR running last 5 years. But that's the beauty of it. It is investing in riskier stocks of small caps, but it is distributing that risk over 50 stocks. So position size is helping in a different way there. So overall, I think you must have got a gist of how position sizing can really help. And I'm just talking about investing. In trading also, position sizing helps a lot. As your capital is coming down, you may want to, reduce your position sizing. Some people increase their position sizing, but I am a conservative trader and investor. So I like to reduce my position sizing as the capital comes down, and build it up as it goes up. So position sizing is a very important aspect of trading / investing, and one should always be conscious and be careful about it when you are designing your strategy. So this is all I had in today's Daily Bite. Please keep your comments coming in. It's a pleasure to do this every day, and let us know if we can improve this in some way, and what all topics you would want us to touch upon, and let us know in the comments below. So have a good day, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.